Call ourselves back to this moment, back to our bodies and our pregnancies. So get cozy so you can do that. Truly, whatever position feels best for you. I'm in supported fish, so I'm laying on my bolster with it vertically behind my back, but you can just simply be seated, something between your knees or under your knees. A nice yoga spine, but it doesn't, have to be super rigid. Let's find some relaxation and comfort. And as per usual, an invitation to scan your body from head to toe, or even we can switch it up and go toe to head, or popcorn style. Just notice the body as the sensations come up and occur and are brought to light. Notice how you're feeling. Maybe there's tingling or itchiness, or maybe you're feeling relaxed, tense, or loose. Simply notice. And from here, let's bring our attention to the nose and notice the breath as well. Without changing or altering your breath, simply noticing the pattern of your breathing. And from here, let's come into a couple relaxing breaths or de-stressing breaths. Inhaling through the nose for 4. Exhaling through the mouth for 6. Moving and breathing at your own pace. Eyes can be closed, or you can put your gaze anywhere you wish. With each exhale, we're relaxing a little more, letting go towards the floor, softening the face and the jaw. And from here, we can place our hands on our belly, on our bodies. And I want you to imagine all the versions of yourself that have been out there today and in the last couple days, grocery shopping, working, taking care of family, spending time with friends, all the versions of yourself, all the energy output you've given to the world, deposited around the city and around town, around the mountains, wherever you've been. Call it all back. Call yourself and your energy back to this moment so we can be really present for ourselves tonight and for our babies. And if you've had any experiences that haven't been favorable this week, you can imagine letting them go, cutting the cord or the connection, releasing them back to the universe for recycling and renewal. Layer by layer, arriving in this moment. And once you feel like you've arrived, let's take a moment to find some thankfulness or gratitude for our bodies, our minds, our life, where we're at this week. Letting our bodies know how capable they are, how capable we are to have the birth we want. And then taking a moment to visualize or sense your baby, or maybe you can feel your baby. And inviting them to join in this practice for the next hour. Inviting them to this sacred space and knowing or cultivating the sense that you are a team. You and your baby work together to grow and flourish and thrive, and you will work together to birth. Send them a little womb message, perhaps around this theme of already being a team, of already getting to know each other, of already meeting here in this space. And when you're ready, let's take a couple of those relaxing breaths again, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Bringing some attention to your skin. Maybe you want to rub your belly, your baby, or maybe you're stroking your arms, getting your nails in your hair or on your skin. Taking a moment to fully arrive in the breath and in the body. And wherever you are, if you're laying down, you can bring the soles of your feet to the floor. Start to move the body here, windshield wipers perhaps. If you're already in seated, let's take a moment to roll out the neck, shoulders, bring some movement into the body. And we'll meet in seated. So if you're lying down with me, you can tuck your chin and sit up, or you can roll to the side, heading for a cozy seated posture. If you're not already sitting on something, it's always a good idea to tuck something under the bum, bringing the pelvis in line. And we'll start by making some circles here, getting into the body here. So many times when I'm in the birth space with mamas, whether it's at home, more typically in the hospital though, we tend to be good patients. And in the yoga space, we tend to be good yogis. We want to follow commands and, make sure we're doing it right. But I always want to invite you here in this space that right is what feels good for you. So allow yourself to start to arrive in the body in a seated position, offering yourself whatever you need here. Neck rolls, shoulder rolls, everybody is atomically a little bit different. Everyone has different body stories, body needs and injuries and tension. So allow yourself to move with your intuition. I always like to start cueing from head to toe, but maybe tonight we can just explore what comes up popcorn style. Maybe you notice you're tense in the ribs or in the shoulders or hips. Taking a moment to tap into your body messaging, your body awareness, and then offering it that nourishment it needs. We don't have to be good yogis that take orders, and we don't have to, that can be spread throughout our lives in the way we show up as parents, in the way we work, and in the way we birth. Connecting our movement to our breath. If you haven't thought of it already and you want to join me, you can come into our wrists and shoulders by first shaking out the wrists, maybe even pressing against an invisible wall in front of us, pulling the shoulders apart at the back, drawing the shoulders towards the chest, and then opening up, inhaling and exhaling here. If this feels good, keep going. If you want to try something else, go ahead. Finding some dynamic movement and play. One more time. Then we can drop our hands down towards the floor, coming onto tented fingers, dropping shoulders away from ears. Back of the neck is long, baby is over the hips. Let's drop an ear to shoulder, stretching out the neck, moving as quickly or as slowly as you wish. Again, allow yourself to play, bringing any other dynamic motions that feel good for you here. And then from here, let's go into the ribs. So often our ribs get tight when we're pregnant. We're running out of space in the torso. So I want you to think about your floating ribs or your waistline, the sort of narrowest part of your body or of your torso, at least pre-pregnancy. From here, I want you to imagine pulling these ribs, the floater ribs, to the left and then to the right. So we're opening up that very teeny tiny space between the ribs and chest and the obliques and hip muscles and all the ligaments there. You might not be able to move too much, and you don't want to be cramping out, so take it easy. It's just a tiny little micro move here to get into a space that can be very stagnant and cause mid-back pain. Again, if this is serving you, feel free to keep going here. And if it's not, you can come into hip circles instead, or any other movement that feels good. Otherwise, spend another moment or so kind of hanging out here. Make this your final 4 or 6 movements, getting some mobility into the low ribs. And then we can continue on with some circles, warming up the lower back and the hips as well. So whether you're anterior and posterior tilting or circling, feel free to do whatever serves, whatever feels good. I always like to end with some whole body movement. So getting the head and shoulders into it as we rock and move. Nice. When you're ready, you can bring the soles of the feet onto the ground. Take some windshield wipers. Warming up the hips bilaterally, and then we'll turn and head to our tabletop. Again, make it cozy as, relaxing continues to flow. You're getting probably more sensitivity in your wrists and shoulders, so make it cozy for you. Bring some props to either bring your wrists onto or come onto forearms. I love forearms. I feel like being on forearms stretches the bones in your pelvis. You can feel everything kind of expand when you're here. Baby is typically right out of the hips. So there's a little bit more flexibility and movement, capacity for movement when you're on your forearms. And it's comfortable, and we want to be comfortable on birthday. So it's good to start practicing that now. Again, mama, breathing here, rocking here, taking whatever shape is needed, either bilaterally, or maybe you're coming into the traditional cat and cow. Breathing as we move and noticing how the body responds. Do we like it? Do we not like it? Is this something we want to do on birthday? Is it helping? Does it feel good? How can we make it better? Nice. And when you're ready, let's come into the clock. Nothing special here. Simply finding all four corners first, and then stepping one foot back at a time, coming into calf stretch. And let's spend one breath cycle at each interval that feels good for us. So we're inhaling and exhaling, and then we're moving our foot into that clock pattern. Notice how my knee is micro bent. As long as there's no tension in the knee behind or beside or in front, you're safe to move here any way that feels good. And I encourage you at each stage to kind of give a little wiggle of your hips forward and backward and side to side. There's a lot of space in there, a lot of micro ligaments that we can move around to stretch and activate, check in with, keeping our toes nice and soft as we do this. Awesome. When that feels complete, you can walk it back. Coming into that calf stretch last, and then we'll bring our knees to meet. Shake it out and then head to the other side. Again, keeping those toes soft as we do this, and also keeping the jaw soft. We know that the glottis in the throat is connected to the diaphragm under the lungs and the diaphragm of the pelvis. We know that the jaw is intrinsically connected to the hips. So as we're warming up our hips, as we're moving intentionally into this area, we always want to keep our face soft. Keeping the sphincters all soft. There's a big line of sphincters from, the throat, the mouth, all the way down to the pelvic outlet and the vulva. So, keeping everything soft and supple.